recording button to start ho gayi hai, but the last time that we hit the record button, it was not exactly the way we had planned. Charudutt and I were planning on getting at least 10,000 views for the episode that we had recorded in
Bro,
the
1
past.
million.
1
10,000
million.
is too small.
But somehow the views didn't cross even 500. With that, I would like to welcome my friend Charudutt Malara again to the podcast that we've been having a lot of words about since the past couple of months. So, Charudutt, both of us are sharing the same background. Of course, not the actual background that people discuss when it comes to their education, but the background with regard to our video conference. Charudutt, why did we fuck up our first video?
I think Kalyug chalu ho gaya and people do not have good quality. They do not have taste, like good taste for acha video and all. So that is
Yeah.
why they did not like. They like other things, right?
That speaks a lot about Pushpa 2 getting to become a blockbuster as well.
I have no words about Pushpa 2. People are dying, man. I mean, that is really sad. Uh, Stampede and all. And I heard Allu
Apparently,
Arjun
he
is
was
arrested for
taken
that.
into custody as well today.
That is sad.
I mean, as
But
somebody
anyway,
who has that, what do you call, capacity of making crowds gather, you need to make sure that safety measures are in place, right?
correct. They should have done that. But no one expected this kind of madness. Like people just going crazy
I mean,
too.
to be very honest, whenever there has been a movie that comes out in South India, there's always this madness.
Okay,
And if I had
okay.
to draw a parallel, you've heard about the Astroworld tragedy which happened in 2021. So Travis Scott has his legacy concert called Astroworld
Oh,
every year.
okay. Hmm. And when
And
the drop of the song comes and the
mosh pit, that mosh pit feeling,
uh,
and everybody starts going
hmm.
crazy. But what happened in that concert was close to 50 people died in that because the entire space was overcrowded and people were literally lamenting and going out there and trying to struggle for their lives. And Travis Scott was singing on top of his voice. Imagine.
That's sad.
But anyways, let's not get into all of whatever tragedies have happened in the past. Let's talk about the tragedy of our video. The biggest tragedy that how it didn't get going. Of course, there are a lot of comments praising Charudutt for all of his wisdom, for all of his knowledge that he has in the DEI space. And
Doesn't make
if
sense, man.
how does it not make sense, Charudutt?
Just getting 500 views in today's world is like, and we
It's like
tried, we
nothing.
did, we reshot it, we did once, we did not like it, then we did it again, and
हाँ,
still we just got 500, but that's okay.
500 व्यूज तो ऐसे वैसे जो चला रहे होते हैं साइकिल की भाई मैं
हाँ,
रोड पे साइकिल चला रहा हूँ उनके 1 लाख व्यूज आ रहे हैं.
exactly. 10 मिनट में 500 व्यूज तो ऐसे ही हो जाते हैं, but that's okay.
Maybe a reminder that we need to work harder. I don't know.
Yeah, true that. True.
Giving context to today's discussion, Charudat and I were very adamant on going about discussing a few things about GD-PI. Since CAT is already done and dusted, a lot of people are really concerned about the fact that GD-PIs are what to follow. They're enrolling themselves in all the coaching centers, going out there watching random videos. But the reality is, none of it will help. What will help? What will help is just a little bit of confidence and a little bit of clarity on how to go about it. So today, over the
Absolutely.
course of the next 30, 40 minutes, Charudat and I will be discussing of all the personal anecdotes that we've had in the very short, not just the corporate career, but the student career as well, where we have encountered different kinds of people. And the objective is about trying to share the right strategy when it comes to interacting with people, not just in GD, but also in PI. So Charudat, starting off with you, what was your first GD or PI? When was how old were you when you got to be a part of your first GD or PI?
I gave my first GD in the year 2017. I
Okay.
don't remember my age that time. Let's not get into
How
the
old are
age
you
part
right
of
now?
it. I don't know, man. I might be 20, 22. I don't know.
Oh,
But anyways, but yeah, that was the first time when I gave my GD. And yeah, it was people loved it, man. It was like, wow, what a man, what a leader. Leader is born. ऐसी बातें हो रही थी. No, that's not the case. It was very bad. Uh, I don't know what the topic was. I don't even remember my topic. And but it was a good learning experience where uh, offline था. That time most of the interview GDs were happening offline.
okay. And the college that we are talking about, was it an MBA college or a UG college?
Yeah, it was an MBA college.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back then, trying to be a part of that huddle where you're supposed to speak up about something, along with a
Hmm.
lot of people. If I talk of my experience, I had my. I mean, of course, I've been a public speaker right through my school. Charudutt, have you done a little bit of public speaking as well in school?
Yeah. Toastmasters.
Toastmasters International. Anything apart from that,
Uh,
school assembly level and all competitions?
no, not at all. When I was in 11th or 12th, I did a few anchoring, like for some programs, annual day and teachers' day and all of that, but nothing apart from nothing as much as
Speeches as much as?
I as much as Kripal. I see you, may speak for India like the
Oh, come
champion
on.
and
Oh, come
all
on.
those
Nobody's a
things.
champion.
You're
Nobody's a champion over here.
getting all
Okay.
those trophies and all. So I was
No,
like,
no way. No way. I'm still very much far from being where I'm supposed to be. But if I had to talk of my experiences during my school days as well, you mentioned about Teachers' Day and Annual Day. Teachers' Day was one day where they put all those makeup, all the champila makeup on us, and we had to just go
uh,
out there and blabber whatever the lines are. Charda, and to all the people who are watching this video as well, if there's one inference that I draw out of all of our childhood experiences, is the fact that our public speaking capabilities were far more better when we were a child, when we were children. I'd like to draw a very fine line. So, of course, now we have better knowledge, we have better diction, we have better communication, we have a lot of words at our disposal. But the
mhm,
very flair, the very fearlessness, the very fact that we were extra receptive until we were 18 years of age, that is a pivotal factor when it comes to your public speaking. Now, I was watching one of the episodes of Andrew Huberman, and he discussed this in great depth. That as people start to age up, they start to become interoceptive with their communication. So, what is the meaning of interoceptive? Is that having that awareness that, okay, am I dressed properly? Am I making sense? Am I in the right posture? Am I going to impact a lot of people? Whereas when we were kids, contrast that. Charu, that you, me, when we were 11-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, we just went out there and had a good time. We rehearsed, and we didn't care. Okay, somebody's going to judge us. Who cares about somebody judging us? We were just trying to go out there and be ourselves as much as possible. But that's
mhm.
not the case these days. So, first
Correct.
inference that I'd like to give to all the people is the fact that you need to become extra receptive. Of course, it is easier said than done, but having that clarity in mind that instead of being intro receptive, you can open your receptors up and try to be in
Mhm.
the environment rather than being sequestered in your own mind. That'll help. Post your 2017 wala GD, what was your second experience like? Did you learn something from that first experience?
Also, but what I did is in the same year, uh, in the same session, I think 2017 wale session, where I had another GD for the same college. So I was applying for TISS. उसमें I had
There are a
three
lot of
courses.
courses. Yeah.
Correct. So I had given preference for three courses. So first I had a GD for one course, then I had GD for another course, and pehle wala did not work well. But definitely some things in the second, I think the luck was good, and it worked out. And yeah, I don't know. I think you were expecting some intellectual answer. Oh, he'll give some
I'm not
inputs and
expecting
all
any
of that.
intellectual answer. I'm just wanting
Uh,
you to be, what do you call, intimate with your answer. Yeah.
this is what happened. I gave my
अरे तो
first
बोलो
JD, it
तो
did
कि
not
क्या
work out.
सीखा भाई बोलो तो सही ले
क्या
व्हाट डिड यू
सीखा
लर्न
क्या सीखा मैंने
कि सेकंड जीडी अच्छा गया
I think थोड़ा सा कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ गया था because in the first GD when I went there was so much pressure that okay I have to perform, I need to get into this college, but when it did not work out, I'm like क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है. So the next time when I went I had less of pressure on me. I was like कि uh, and I knew what things didn't work out. So maybe noting down points, what has to be said, because I was like, सबसे पहले मुझे ही बोलना है. I have to speak on. I have to start the GD. I have to be the one who is leading the GD and all of that. But second time I was relatively calm, relatively not very interested in leading it, but I was interested in making a mark. So I thought कि okay, this is something that you should be aiming at, and that is what I did.
this tendency this proclivity of most of the individuals that they are supposed to lead go out there and try to orchestrate how the entire discussion that lands all of them in trouble as well to be very
Absolutely.
honest अगर
Yeah.
अगर मैं अपनी बारे में बात करूं so of course I've been a part of a few GDs and debates and discussions and all of that has been a part and parcel
Obviously.
but
Hmm.
it's not so obvious it don't make me feel so great about it
You're
But
like the guru, man. We
oh,
look up to
oh,
you,
actually,
Kripal.
I'm nowhere near to becoming a guru. But when I was in my second year, I was going about through the intercollege debate competitions and group discussions. So I was a part
Hmm.
of a certain college where there were around 20, I'm not sure, it was 40, 45 individuals, where all of us were divided in 8 groups each, and we were supposed to discuss a few topics out. First topic came out, I mean, somehow I was well read on most of the topics. I had the most impactful of points. I made it to the final round. When the final round came about, there were this is becoming sarcastic now.
No, no,
this
no.
is this is becoming
Not at all. I mean, there's so much to learn. Go on,
oh no
please.
way, no way. So in the
Please.
final round, I was having a problem with one of the individuals who was apparently placed at the center, and he was trying to pivot the discussion towards himself. This is a usual practice when it comes to GDs. If you don't know what the topic is about, tilt it to something else altogether. Since the
हाँ,
rest of the 7 people had no clue about the topic, they were very much okay that, okay, let him do whatever he wants. I was having a problem with it. I was losing my cool over it. एंड उसी जबरदस्ती में उसी जोश में मैं इतना उबारू हो गया कि मैं अपने कुर्सी से हट के ऐसे खड़े हो गया. That is what happened in the final round of that GD. And everybody made a note of it. The judge saw me like that. And after that, of course, I spoke well. Of course, I had a lot of better points. Of course, I knew everything about the economic impact, whatever the nonsense was about the topic. But I simply did not.
nonsense. Okay. Okay. You
I
you
just
did
did
not?
nothing. When I was disqualified.
Oh.
And I was disqualified simply on the ground that I stood up from my chair. Well, the other 3 people who won 6,000 each or ऐसा पता नहीं कुछ कुछ cash ले गए वो लोग, they were not even making any points in it. So that was a bad day. But that taught me a great deal about how to carry yourself. More than the point you're making, more than how you're orchestrating, more than the kind of knowledge that you have, it's all about how you carry yourself. But
Mm,
yes,
mm,
if you're losing your calm, losing your temper, the judge, in all his privacy, he came up to me, he tried to become a little close to me, and he told me कि तेरे से अच्छा कोई बोल नहीं पा रहा था. तेरे पास पॉइंट्स भी हैं, तेरे पास लैंग्वेज भी है, पर तेरे में कूल
mm,
नहीं है भाई. अगली बार इस पे
mm,
काम कर. I'll see you at the top. So this is something that still perturbs me till date because people always give in to formalities instead of trying to put that point across. So Charudat, if I had to put you in a juxtaposition in a very uncomfortable situation, you have one candidate who is given into all the formalities, who is given into all the behavioral etiquettes and is very what do you call conditioned? Yeah, conditioned is the word. And on the other end, there is a candidate who has the knowledge, who has all the points, but is not groomed, is not conditioned. The first man is superficial. The second person has that mind in himself. Who will you go ahead with?
I mean, this is a very tough thing. It also depends if you're saying that if I am sitting on the other side of recruitment part, it also depends on the role, right? If it's a role
Client
where
facing.
there's a lot of client facing, so I think the first one would make more sense, because how are you able to talk to your clients? Do you have those etiquettes? Are you well groomed or not? I think that would help definitely. But I also think that the second person can also be taught these things, right? The other person could also be trained on that. So again, it's a tough one, but I don't know. I think I don't know. I'm not able to. I'll have to take more of interviews or understand more about both of them.
And it depends on the role as well.
Of course, it depends on the role, depends on uh, whom are you facing, what is your audience, stakeholders, all of that would matter.
Precisely, man. Precisely. I mean, I see this happen with a lot of boardroom discussions as well, where a lot of energy is lost in trying to be formal, in trying to give into all the formalities without giving into the context of the discussion. That, okay, this is the problem statement. These are a set of solutions. Let's go out and make things better.
Mm.
There's lack of,
But I think balance is important. I think
okay,
formalities at times are also important, right? Because
okay.
uh, after all these uh, it's a lot about the presentation. It's all about a lot about the grooming part of it. So I think balance between having knowledge and uh, formality is what would take you in ahead in your career. Not that I am ahead, not that I know of it, but just with what experience, what it looks like, I think that would be the way ahead.
It's not about what you say, but how you say it. That's what you're trying to imply.
You
But
say how you. Uh-huh.
Charudat, at the risk of being too etiqueted, at the risk of having that mannerism in place, are you not losing out on the essence of the discussion?
Yeah, but humility and being able to, have that, uh, sometimes it's very important that the person has that kind of, uh, vibe. If it's very haphazard or not well groomed or the presentation skills are not good, doesn't make sense, right? I mean, I don't know. That is what I feel. What do you think?
I mean, if I was in a situation where I'm supposed to pick between a couple of people, I'll always go with the knowledgeable guy. Because to me, okay, now given the fact that we're being honest over here, I don't give a shit about formalities. I don't give a shit about etiquettes. I don't give a shit about having that balance in place. I give a shit about who has that knowledge in head. If there is a problem situation, I'm solving it right away. So,
But you should be able to communicate that, right? You should be able to communicate that well. You should be able to put forward, because there will be a lot of situations where there will be, there'll be tough situation when the person will not be ready to listen to you. He'll not be in a position, uh, will not be of sound mind at times, right? And in that situation, if you are someone who doesn't have the etiquettes, who doesn't have the,
the right sense of
fine tuning
approach.
in fine tuning of language, it may not work. In that situation, just knowledge is not going to help you out. So I think the balance part is very important. If you're able to do both the things well, that is, I mean, I cannot distinguish between which one is the higher one, which one is the lower one. I think uh, having the right balance mix is important.
Charudutt makes a very strong point over here. The fact that formalities are not just limited to wearing a tie or putting on a blazer or walking with a certain, what do you call, swagger. It's all about trying to make an impression and actually communicating what is required. That's
Correct,
what you're
correct.
trying to imply.
Yes, yes.
So, Charudutt, coming on to the fun side of discussions, I read this a lot on LinkedIn that, okay, some kid is trying to get enrolled in an MBA institution. The moment they walk into the interview room, all of this sweating and all of these jitters that, oh, I'm supposed to go out there and perform like you are, that anxiety and pressure that, oh, I'm supposed to get selected. All of this takes over the kid, takes over the student. And when he goes out there and sits on the chair, he even forgets his registration number to the extent where he even forgets whatever his academics are, whatever simple formulas are. How does a student get out of that trouble? How does a student get out of that uncomfortable situation?
I think practice is one simple thing that you can always do. Uh, have those mock interviews, have interviews where there are people whom you don't know of, people asking you some very difficult questions. That has worked for me. That has definitely worked. But I think this anxiety, uh, even after giving so many interviews, even after giving, like, clearing one masters and then again getting into the other masters, I think that anxiety has always been there. And at times I feel that positive anxiety is also necessary, right? It it makes you, you don't become overconfident. You remain humble because of that, and you also put in more efforts because
Effort.
you think, oh, this may not work, that may not work. So you're always trying to, that anxiety is there, but I think that also helps you.
That
Uh,
drives you.
that drives you also. So I think that is how it works for me. But yeah, Guru, आप बताइए आपको,
अरे,
how is it for you?
how the hell am I a guru, man?
You are like the Gatsby's gang, man. Everyone comes to listen to you.
Oh, come on. I'm just telling you this. I have a very strong correlation between the last time I fapped to the kind of interview or group discussion that I'm going to be a part of. I'm going to be all honest over here. Okay, so if I have any, what do you call, public speaking endeavor coming up, if I have any public speaking engagement, for example, a debate or a discussion or an interview, I make sure that I abstain for a good 2 weeks.
Okay, अच्छा. No fab challenge.
Not a challenge, but that's how I'm conditioned. I'm
Okay,
not trying to get, I'm unable to get out of that rut. But okay, this is how
okay,
things are. I have that conditioning that, oh, that has an impact on my
okay.
perception, that dips my performance. So if I'm
So
off
no,
that radar, I have that placebo effect that, okay, come what may, I know how to talk to even the prime minister. That is the kind of delusion that I'm in. I'm being honest.
so so that is the secret ingredient of your success, right? No fab. Kripal has no fab.
What is with this symbol and all, man? What is with this
This
symbol?
is this is quote.
Okay, this way.
This is not the symbol. This is the symbol. Getting it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, of course, this is something that I've discussed with a lot of people as well. And most of the people who have a trouble with, going out there and being good public speakers, I've asked them this one simple question. Have you tried practicing absistence? Have you tried abstaining? Whenever somebody walks up to me, any guy, regardless of which part of the institution, regardless of him being in an office or a college, I just tell him very upfront, कि भाई last time कब किया?
This podcast is sounding like Ranveer Alabadia's
Ranveer
podcast
Alabadia is
where he talks
Ranveer
about no
Alabadia.
fap and all of that. He talks about no fap and all of that, right?
Yeah,
In his initial days.
he stopped that. He doesn't do that anymore.
I'm assuming that he might have stopped it.
Yeah, I've never watched a
Uh,
sing. I watched only the Imtiaz Ali version of his.
yeah.
उसके अलावा I've
Acha,
never watched a
Imtiaz Ali
single.
version of his.
Not version, the recording with Imtiaz Ali.
Okay.
उसके अलावा I've never seen a single one of his episodes because very usual.
Some of them I watch. I saw Priyanka Chopra wala. I saw the Curly Tails.
अच्छा
I see some of them. It's nice, you know. It's nice. A lot of gyan you get. Yeah.
So that was about the thing that goes into play. Like I also speak to a few musicians, etc., who have a lot of work to do with the stage, and they mentioned, okay, do you want me to get into the depth of that, or can we just skip it and go about with the rest of the parts as well?
No, please give us the gyan. It's important.
So
Yeah.
these songwriters, these musicians who have a lot of stage work to do, a few of them mentioned this very like upfront to me that they have a specific day in the week allotted to that activity.
Okay. Oh
So
my
so
God.
so
Acha.
that ways they
Uh,
don't have their mind into that activity for the rest of the 6 days.
okay.
They have
Okay.
this fixed. My energy is going to that place for that specific day at that specific time, and they do it regardless of the urges, regardless of how they feel.
Isn't that inorganic in a way? I mean,
Yeah, it
the
is very
urges.
inorganic, but it makes them
Uh,
disciplined. Because to
oh,
be honest, most of us are conditioned by our urges. We give in to our urges. But that is not
yeah,
the
yeah.
case with them, apparently.
My God. Acha.
So that is
I
how they
think this
master
is.
their performance on the stage as well, according to them. Another
I
a
think.
thing that I noticed is that if I talk of averages, if I talk of the mean values of how girls perform versus how boys perform with regard to public speaking, I see girls always having an upper edge. I see most of the ladies,
Okay.
most of the women, they don't face a lot
Mhm.
of difficulty with making impactful presentations or points in a group discussion.
Okay.
What do you
I
think is
don't.
the reason for that?
I don't know. And I mean, I've not seen this where girls are performing better than boys. I don't know. But if you're saying, I think, uh, are they more focused? They could be more focused. Are they preparing more? I don't know. I don't know if you could only help us with.
What I feel is most of us have that feeling of guilt, that feeling of shame, that feeling of awareness that oh, we are not anything in our lives. We are yet to achieve a lot. That syndrome that oh, we are very far. But girls are happy-go-lucky type. They're very much satisfied wherever their
But
life is
cripple
heading.
this feeling. Why are you getting this feeling
I
that we
get
have
that.
not achieved anything? I mean,
I,
for me, it's okay. But
for
for
me, for me,
Gatsby's
it's even
Gyan,
more
it should
relevant.
be.
I'm not the
Come
DEI
on,
guy
man.
at Legrand. I'm not a
Come
bloody
on,
manager
man.
right now. I'm still
I'm
very
also not
far
a
from
manager.
being a
I'm
manager.
not a manager. But
But
come on,
you're in
man.
a bloody superior position.
Dude, you have taken the interview of, I think, Nikhil Kamath. You have taken the interview
Doesn't matter.
of
Doesn't
who's
matter.
the who was that minister?
Subramanian Swami. He's not a minister.
Say,
He was the law minister in
he
1999.
was the minister, right? So still, they've done so much in life, man. I mean,
But
it's
all of that is
always,
not helping me get ahead. I still have that sense, Charudutt, to be very honest, I still feel like a
uh-huh.
loser every day, day in and day out.
See, I think uh, I definitely feel social media plays a big part in that, and we should just take a digital detox for some time. That
That's
would
why you
really help.
deactivated your Instagram, is
Yes,
it?
yes, yes. I mean, a lot of girls are messaging me, so I'm like, थोड़े दिन रुकते हैं. No, no. But the thing is, it's very important to take that digital detox. And we listen about it so much. We keep hearing that Instagram is bad for us. It distracts us, this,
But we
that, that.
keep
But
feeding
still,
ourselves to it.
हाँ, the जैसे मैं उठता हूँ, the morning I wake up, reels चालू हो जाते हैं. And रात तक reels, 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 reels. अब क्या
इतना
हुआ
ही
यार?
रील्स
Stop
देखते हो गए यार.
Instagram. I've stopped Instagram, but YouTube is still there. So I now need to get rid of YouTube also.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's very important because unless we are out of that zone, we'll always have self-doubt because there will be people who are doing better than you. There are people who are not doing as good as you are. But you cannot compare, you cannot only see the people who are doing good, right? I mean, uh, people only show you the good side of their lives. So I think it's very important to come out of that illusionary world where you think that, oh, the world is doing so much and I'm not being able to do anything. Uh, I think that is something
But
that
in
everyone should
reality,
do.
Elon Musk is
Hmm.
actually going to the Mars, right? And we are not even able to go to Ghatkopar.
ठीक है uh, सबका लाइफ सबका टाइम आता है ना so
Yeah, that is what we tell ourselves, and the fact that we choose to see the good part about most of the people. For example, if we talk of countries, now India will never rejoice the fact that okay, our economy is way better than Pakistan's. India will always compare itself with contemporaries like USA, the rest of the what do you call Western economies from Europe. They will compare ourselves to them. I mean,
no, currently India is only happy that we are doing better than Pakistan. That's the only happiness people have. They're like, ah, hum Hindu log, we are doing better than Pakistan, we are doing better than Sri Lanka. I don't see that comparison nowadays. I don't see people talking about comparing India to us in any way because we have already declared ourselves as Vishwaguru, right? We are already the people who are stopping the wars. We are already there. So I don't think we are comparing.
for the papa.
Yeah, we are doing that, right? So I don't think we are comparing now. But we are happy. We are just happy that okay, India is not going to play in Pakistan anymore in the ICC Champions Trophy, and we are very happy about it. So yeah.
We still have a lot of room to make though. We still have a lot of work to do.
Obviously,
Of course,
obviously. We are just like 10% there, maybe.
with regard to economics as well, we are way far from. When
Yeah,
it comes
yeah,
to per capita income, we are at 132nd position, if I'm not wrong.
yeah. Every year our HDI is going down. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
worst thing that would actually happen.
I read this
We're
that
not.
China spends 15 times, or not even 15 times, maybe at least 20 times more on HDI than what India does.
Spend. We are more interested in Ayodhya. We are more interested in the Statue of Unity. Those are the main, areas where we need to spend. But
Epicenters of
anyway, yeah, yeah.
civilization.
Let's come back to our GD topic, GDPI.
Yeah. These are also very
Uh,
innovative GD topics. All the people who are watching this, if they ask you for your opinion, like I was a part of a debate back in Bits Pilani, and this was the discussion: should India spend on HDA or should India spend on Statue of Unity?
It's a Statue of Unity, man. It's such an important thing. So much we're giving so much of employment.
For clarity to everybody, Charudutt is being sarcastic over here.
Not at all. Why would I be sarcastic? No, I'm in all honesty, I think Statue of Unity is more important.
Then
Uh,
HDA.
Obviously, it is.
Oh, come on. What are you saying? What are you saying?
I mean, I don't know what's wrong with people now. They are, uh, I don't know. I can't speak on that anymore.
But yeah, it happens. It happens with the most, what do you call, epic of governments coming into the picture. Even after 10 years, a certain party is not losing the control that it has over the entire nation with regard to its propaganda machinery, with regard to its initiatives, with regard to its objectives. It is still very much in power.
Yeah,
Talking
yeah.
of talking of power, when we talk of B schools and their admissions, there are a group of 4 to 5 people who have the power of deciding if you're getting in or not. Those 4 or 5 people are very much limited by their own subjective perceptions of people, by their own subjective understanding of how a candidate is supposed to be. Like if I talk of most of the podcasts that I've done, when it comes to SPJMR and Micah, they say that a lot of innovative practices are in place to assess students. But when it
Mm,
comes to hardcore competition, cutthroat competition in the black eye IIMs, there's a
mm,
lot that has to be done with regard to making the student feel better.
mm.
Like a
Yeah,
student
yeah,
walks up into the room and the interviewer just doesn't care. He goes all out. That how can you not know this? What is wrong with you? Are you even an economics graduate? How dumb can you be? What is this nonsense? I mean, okay, I get that this is the most revered course. I get that this is why most of the people make a lot of money in their careers. But you can't go about berating or insulting candidates, right?
absolutely. I think this is also because of the high competition that we have. There are like lakhs of people there, right? Cat, how many people? 10. There's some
3
lakhs of
lakhs, 4
people
lakhs.
3
Yeah.
lakh people are giving cat every year, right? So because there are so many people uh, in India, we have stopped valuing human beings, right? We have stopped because एक नहीं है तो दूसरा होगा, दूसरा नहीं आएगा तो तीसरा हो जाएगा. It doesn't matter. That is how we have been. मतलब that is how the thing
Condition.
has. We have been conditioned, and even in IIMs or any top B school, obviously there's a lot of bias. There is, the way you dress, your background, your language, the way you speak. All those biases will be there, but sorry, but I think um, uh, SPJIM, what are the new practices they're following? I mean, I'm not aware of that.
Okay, so
You said that.
Yeah, SP
Hmm,
Jain, where I had that discussion, he was saying that they had to do some group activity as well. The guy that I was interviewing, he talked of some activity where they were supposed to, I can't recall the exact details, but that was different to what the typical GDPI is. When it comes to
hmm.
MICA, they had to enact a skit,
Okay.
enact a skit slash
Hmm.
prepare a WhatsApp circular for senior age citizens. So that
Okay.
is how
Okay.
complicated their, I mean, not complicated,
Hmm.
of course, user friendly because it's a marketing college at the end of the day. But they were trying to be approachable. They were trying to be inclusive of most of the people. And Charudat, when you talk of the fact that a lot goes into play with regard to the way you dress, with regard to the way you speak and your background, do you feel that there is a certain apprehension for people with a privileged background when it comes to legacy B schools?
I don't think so. So it also depends on who's taking your interview. If that person comes from a privileged background, right? And if that person has the condition that favors a privileged person, then that would be helpful. But if someone on the panel side, if someone is from the underprivileged section of the society,
And to know how
that
all
person
the
would,
adversities impact you.
huh, so maybe that person would definitely want someone who is from underprivileged background, or always that thing will happen. And both the things I think is wrong. I mean, it should be very objective. It should not have to do with your uh, privileges or your background, right? It should be more objective in that way. Of course, you have the reservations and all of that. I'm not talking about it. But when you're assessing a candidate, I think the biases should not be there. So, at least in the companies now, I think that is very good thing that's happening. That AI has taken over. Some preliminary rounds of interviews, I think AI is taking them, where you do not know the name of the candidate, you do not know the gender of the candidate, you do not know the caste, color, or you don't know all of that. The AI does it for you, then shorts people, does the shortlisting, and then sends it to the next round. So I think in some way the bias they are trying to the effect is
Eliminated.
reduced, eliminating the bias. But yeah, in colleges, I think they're still using the age-old method of interviewing, taking the GD. And the format is all the same, man. I don't know. They sometimes they call it group activity, sometimes they call it group discussion. Even for all our college, it was called group activity, and we go like, oh my God, what is this? There's something new activity has come up, but it's all the same in the end. So be it the top B school or the newer age colleges, I think the admission process needs to revamp in that way.
Apart from the admission process, when you talk of artificial intelligence taking over as well, that reduces the entire point of having an interview, right? When you're speaking in
No,
front
no,
of a bot and you're not
no, no.
having that, you're getting my point.
Yeah, so what happens is in AI, not the complete thing is done by the AI. Of course, there will be some human intervention. I'm not saying that completely get rid of the human part and have only the AI, but areas where there could be some biases or some questions which, could have those aspects.
Subjective
Just,
impacts.
so for that portion, AI is taking care of the interview, and they're only shortlisting. They're not finalizing, or that is not happening. So yeah, again, balance of both human touch and AI is important going forward.
As an extremist, it is extremely difficult for me to understand and wrap my head around the fact that it is balance that dictates the world. Because I always believe in having a right answer or a wrong answer. But the fact that you keep drawing my attention to the fact that, okay, there is a certain balance. There is a certain fulcrum around which the load and effort is going to rest.
Yeah, I also always used to have that white and black approach to anything, that it could be either white or black. Uh, but over the years, I think most of the times it's in the gray, right? It's not completely white, it's not completely black. It is always in the gray. Because that simple example that we see, right? A six is written here. You may look at it as nine, and I may look at it as six, and we both are correct in our own ways. So, uh, in the end, I think that is what life is. It says no right or wrong. There's just a balance. Uh, yeah, that is what I feel now.
It's all about what your subjective source of meaning is at the end of the day.
Correct, correct. Because your life experiences may be totally opposite to what I have experienced in my life, and you may be right at your own at your own junction in life, and I may be correct in my way. So I cannot just eliminate or just say that no, no, you're
Judge
not
you.
correct in that, judge you in that way. Having a balance, having open to both the views is important.
Precisely, precisely. Now, when we talk of all the anecdotes around GDPR, I am not sure if I can recollect anything else that has happened with me. I had to discuss one thing about an interview with a leading hedge fund. So there was this hedge fund called D-Shaw, and I was shortlisted in the top six people from my campus. And that was for the role. Why I'm not placed over there. Why the hell do you start clapping?
But still, getting into top six is also a big thing.
It's bullshit. So I got into that I got into that interview room, and it was a short of luck, by the way. I gave the what do you call aptitude in the interview, the AI interview, randomly. I was not even into it. So when the interview started, we greeted each other, and it went well. They asked me a few questions. I started around a few option trading and all that. I was not very much clear with the concepts. But when it came to a very precise fact, he asked me which was the most affected sector during the COVID. I
Mhm.
told him very, what do you call, not arrogantly, of course, I told him very upfront and straightforward that anybody could
Tourism.
tell that it is the tourism sector. But according to
Mm.
me, it is the automobile sector. It is the aeroplane sector. Because I read a lot about the fact that neon was not being able to be imported from Ukraine. That was not being, that was what do you call, plowing back to the fact that there were not enough semiconductors, because of which there was a shortage of cars. And this was leading to
Mm.
a hike in price of automobiles all across the world.
Correct,
That guy
correct.
didn't agree on this. That guy got into an ugly fight with me that how can you say this? How can you say that you are wrong? You are this, you are that. Then it got pretty ugly for the last 10 minutes. And of course, as is obvious, I didn't make the cut. But if there's something that I want to make a point on is the fact that uh, when you're having an opinion which does not fall into the actual course of events or actual course of how people think, then you need to be adaptable with it. My biggest concern,
Yeah.
my biggest problem was that the moment he disagreed with me, I kept battling and arguing with the fact that no, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. Because it is very difficult to grasp that impression which is contrary to what the regular course of opinions are about. When you
Mm.
mention something that is very dissonant, for example, I say Charudutt, okay, Earth is flat, or something even more bizarre that oh, there is no sun. So that is going to be a lot of that takes a lot of effort on your part to convince the interviewee as well. So if
Mm.
there's one thing that most of us need to learn, maybe is to become adaptable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. वही है ना कि if your boss says गधा गधा क्या है गधा
Hmm.
घोड़ा है, so you have to say गधा घोड़ा है.
Yeah.
You
Sir,
cannot, you cannot.
गधा
हाँ,
गधा तो घोड़ा ही है, गधा कुछ है ही नहीं.
हाँ,
As simple as
whatever
that.
your boss says, yeah. So I don't know if that's adaptability, but whatever it is, that skill, if you're able to, if you're able to have that skill, you'll be successful in your corporate career.
I mean, of course, this dream that we keep selling to people, oh, if you'll do this, you'll be successful in your corporate career. If you do that, you'll be. I'm kind of tired with this. I'm kind of sick of this when I read this
Tired,
on LinkedIn as well.
but that is how life is, right? I mean, and also the irony is people like you and me are talking about success. I mean, at least तुम्हारा तो ठीक है, you can talk about it. But for a person like me who's just started in this world, I don't think it even makes sense.
You have an entire venture in place to help students. You have done a startup as well previously, and you're telling me that I'm the one
That's the
who's
same
having an
thing.
upper hand. Oh my
Obviously,
God.
obviously, man. It's always a privilege, to speak with
Oh,
you.
this is getting weirdo, man, since the last time. Charudutt is after me. Charudutt is here
But
to be very sarcastic today.
someone told me to be funny in their video, so I'm just trying.
Oh, the second memorable interview that I had was with another investment banking role. It was for Barclays. I'm not sure if it is rightful of me to be taking names of all these companies, but
They're not going to hire you anymore, bro.
they know कि
You're
भाई
losing
गौर
out
के
on that opportunity.
इसको एक
हाँ,
इंटरव्यू में ही समझ में आ गया ये कभी आने नहीं वाला है भाई इसको भगाओ.
वापस से तो लेने ही नहीं वाले इसको हम. Okay,
So
anyways.
Barclays में it was for an investment something some random role I don't know. उसमें भी I made it to the top 8 kids out of the campus. So वहाँ पे when there was this interview round going उसके पहले the prelim round was of an investor presentation. वहाँ पे we had to do something. मैंने तो भाई whatever. तो जब PI आई तो that person asked me to sit and then we started discussing. तो I don't know what happens with me. I have this sense of being very cocky or this sense of being very arrogant. So when I go out there, I always make the other person feel uncomfortable. This has happened with me a lot of times. So that interviewer was starting to feel uncomfortable around me. He was getting a little nervous as well. And the kind of questions that he was asking was of course relevant, but I was giving him some ulta pulta answers. Like he asked me, okay, this, that. So I'm giving him extra information that, oh, I had a difficult childhood. My dad's in army, so I had to face all the pressure and all the. He was like, he started smiling on that, but I realized that getting too intimate, getting too personal with whatever your this thing is, whatever your life has been like, doesn't make sense, doesn't help you get in at the end of the day. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
yeah,
again, it could be very subjective. Some people may like that aspect of you, that this person is opening up with me and sharing all the details. But some people may be like, yeah, why the
क्यों बोल
fuck is he telling me? क्यों
हम्म,
बता रहा है मुझे? I'm not interested. I'm here just for the job.
हम्म.
And that practical approach, I think in today's world, that has taken over, right? People are
That has
not
become the
interested to
mainstream.
know. Yeah, people are not interested to know about your background or anything. They're like, काम कर, काम खत्म कर, जा घर पे, right? So I was talking to one of the persons in my organization here who was in this organization since like 10, 12 years, okay? And again, 10, 12 years in same organization for our generation seems like uh,
Wow.
a complete lifestyle, right? A lifetime of journey for us because we have an average attrition of, let's say, 2 years, 2.5 years. Gen Z have like 2 years of attrition, average tenure in our organization. So one thing, well, very well, what he said was people are not connecting with each other. They're not talking about their personal lives to each other. They're not having that comfort with others. They're not trusting. And if you do not trust each other well, आप काम भी नहीं कर पाओगे ज्यादा टाइम तक. आप थोड़े टाइम करोगे, बनेगा, जमेगा, नहीं बनेगा, and then you leave off. So I think वो जो पार्ट है जहाँ पे the people are not getting uh, where people are not opening up, I think that is playing a big role in building the relationships in a formal
That is
area.
playing a big role in vilifying the corporate space as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The reason it has been stereotyped like the way it has been shown in the movie Tamasha, कि टाई बेचने
Correct.
थोड़ी ना जा रहे हैं बॉस, ही इज हैविंग ऑल
Hmm.
दीज फेक रिलेशनशिप्स. अरे अच्छा हुआ वो लड़की
Correct.
चली गई, बहुत पैसे बच गए. That is the reason why most of the people are not joining.
Judgment, people coming in from various backgrounds, they
Walks of
judge.
life.
So of course, yeah, yeah.
It's a very cumbersome process to put 10 people from different backgrounds together and expect them to drive output in a harmonized manner and expect them to open up as well to each other without because Charu, that one thing, most of us are fond of judging people. Most of us are fond of berating people कि भाई
Absolutely.
ये तो
Yeah,
गया
yeah,
गुजरा, क्या ही
absolutely.
घटिया आदमी है यार. This is what we like to do.
Correct, correct. ऊपर से हम चाहे we may say that we are from this school and we are
Hmm.
from, we are like very modern and I'm not very judgmental. Everyone down there is judging you, right?
Hmm.
The very
Down there,
first, I mean,
down
down there,
there.
as in, uh, don't get horny, man. So, the thing is, हर कोई पहली नजर में जज ही करता है, कैसे
Yeah.
दिख रहा है, क्या नहीं पहन रहा है. And that is why coming back to our starting point, right, when we were talking about whether knowledge is more important or your formalities, your looks, I think that is still important, right? You need to have that balance.
Again, it all boils down to the balance of things and how we
Yeah,
go
yeah,
about carrying ourselves.
correct.
So, Charudat, what I was planning to do with all of the people who are watching this video is to give them a brief structure as well as to how they're supposed to approach their personal interviews, their group discussions, and how they can carry
Hmm.
themselves as well. What I think is this can be a good prelude to that conversation.